each time I hear the words don't know, I kind of feel like it's an answer to the question. And in a way, it stops the questioning. So even don't know is not don't know. Don't know is truly not knowing before thinking. So don't know isn't the phrase don't know. Don't know is experientially what it's like to be open and curious and not stuck in our own narrative. So we always have to be careful because our narrative takes over. And it almost feels like the narrative is like a big sucking vacuum, and it will pull everything into it and then turn it into something recognizable and predictable. I mean, after all, why do we get so stuck in our narrative? Why do we need to have such a strong personal perspective? And I think it's almost hardwired. We have to do that in order to make sense of the random, complex, and unpredictable world that we live in. So it's not bad or wrong that we do that. It's just that, at least for me, and I think for many of us, we come to realize that we're living in a tight, almost like a straitjacket, where we're all bound up in having to be a very particular way, needing to see things in a particular way. Seems like one of the social currents that we're having, at least in the United States right now, and maybe all around the world, is that in some ways it feels like ideology is getting stronger. And we separate ourselves into camps, and then you're supposed to believe what everybody else believes in your camp, rather than the recognition that, here, what is it? The number of people that are here on the screen today, there's no way each of us have the same perspective. We might be able to share the sweep of our political or social philosophy and find some agreement, but guaranteed, at least I believe guaranteed, the more we get into it and the more specific we get, the more we're actually going to find that there's a lot of difference. And sometimes it seems in our cultural moment, differences are trying to be washed out. We're all supposed to think the same way. And it doesn't really work that way. And in fact, it leads to more suffering in my sense of things. So nobody has a lock on truth, and nobody really knows the right answer. It's actually collective. And the more we can allow for difference, the more we can get closer to the truth. So we practice not to make everything the same. We practice to notice the uniqueness of each thing. Just like each one of us is actually unique, we can say we're all human beings, but each one of us is unique and different. And practice offers us a way to actually drop into our uniqueness and then express our own nature through our own particularity. Zen offers us a both-and world. In the absolute world, it may seem like there's no difference, but in the particularity, difference emerges. And we use our practice to allow ourselves to get closer to what is, rather than to stay stuck in our narrative. You know, almost the basic premise of the Buddha way is that everything in this universe is connected, and no one thing exists separate from any other thing. So there's a oneness that is just miraculous to feel. But within that oneness, each particular thing is the entire universe. So each one of us is the living, breathing manifestation of this world, of this universe. Our challenge is to actually live it. There's a simple way to touch our breath, to feel our center, to open our ears and open our eyes, and to be great doubt. Not to think great doubt, but to actually be great doubt.